How's it going?
Welcome back to our podcast. We're very excited.
Yes, we're so excited this week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Karin.
And I'm Gloria, and we're your hosts.
Of Here for the Company. First off, so we're going to do this week something new.
Mm-hmm.
Household debate of the week. When you're doing laundry and you go to put a shirt on the hanger, which way is the hanger pointing? Like, which way is the hook?
Okay. That depends, because my clothes are on the right side of our closet, so it's pointing like this to the left, I guess.
Yeah.
And then his, I guess they're both pointing left.
Because you're right-handed.
Is that why? But when I hang them, like when I hang his, it's pointed to the right because his hang on the left side.
Oh, so you hang them backwards.
Well, no, I hang them the way they're supposed to. So the hook is pointing to the right when I'm putting them on the hanger, like his shirts.
Okay, so his
But
hook,
when I put them in there, they're pointing left.
Yes. Okay. See, for me, like Sean and I have been together for so long, and I'm not triggered by very many things. You could load the dishwasher however the hell you want. You can fold. I've given up on towel folding, whatever. But why on earth would you hang my shirt and put the hook to the right?
Well, like, is he hanging it like under? Like, it's always going to go just on the hook.
My entire life, my entire household, if you asked any of my siblings, hook to the left. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're looking at the shirt and it is facing you, like this shirt was facing you, the hook would have to go to the left. And I don't know. I guess that was my dad's one, like super hyper, well, that and cleaning toilets, but super hyper fixation. I was going to say,
I think he also, your dad might have had OCD.
He does. Do you remember the
dishes?
I don't remember.
Loading the dishwasher. He talked about it in church. Loading the dishwasher. I think he's mentioned, like, I don't know if it was your mom or maybe you kids putting, I believe it was bowls in the top.
Oh yeah,
of
him
the
and
dishwasher.
My mom thought about it. I think hilarious. Though the minute I was old enough, like when I moved out, my mom said, I didn't realize how much you were doing until you left. Because I think when I was old enough to do the dishwasher, that was my thing.
Yeah.
You know what drove him most crazy? You know when we would have communion?
Mm-hmm.
And that giant wooden table thing was out there?
Yes, I remember.
If it was even a little bit off center, my dad would stand at the back of the sanctuary and just like wig out.
Dude, major OCD for sure.
For sure. But the hangers so thing. Funny. It's the one thing we all.
So are your hangers inside like the closet hang rod?
No. They're on the outside. Rod?
Right.
But it just, everything goes, I don't know. But Sean and I have been together this year will be 14 years. What year is it?
2025.
13 years together. I feel like I've never had to explain to him that my clothes get hung a certain way. And I go down last night to do the laundry on the couch. And there's a shirt of mine with the hanger facing to the right. And I know my kids didn't do it. Because heaven forbid they pick up laundry.
Right? Yeah, my kids don't do any of that.
Mm-mm.
I do everything in my house, though.
Really?
I don't think my husband's touched laundry since I met him.
I would die.
I mean, I stay home. I don't do anything else. So it's like.
Yeah, that's true. Know? When I was home all the time, I did a lot more. Nowadays, I just feel like I survive.
Oh, I think if both parents are working,
Mm-hmm.
for sure needs to be 50-50.
Yeah. Sean and I plan out a lot of our life. What do you have this week? Google Calendar saves our butts. Every time we get a soccer schedule or a birthday party invite or anything that we have to do, it goes on the Google Calendar and I invite him because I'm like, you don't have to come, but you do have to know about it so that when you open your calendar and someone says, hey, let's go to this or that, no,
We
my
can't.
wife needs me.
Yeah, I live with a man that literally does not even know what time is. Like we don't I don't tell him anything that I'm doing. Really ever. I'm like, yeah, the
Oh,
kids have
man.
this going on, but like he don't need to know.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless it's like
Yeah.
important and he has to be there.
Yeah. I will say, like, when he worked for his previous company for 10 years, it
Hmm.
was getting to be like that. And that's why he was like, I need something different. So that's why we're
Yeah.
here. And
That's why we're here.
that's why we're here in Ohio. Okay. So moving past that. So you have to think of one for next week, or you guys should give us one in the comments.
Yes. What are we calling this again?
Uh,
What did you
household
say at the
debate.
beginning?
I hit
Household
my leg.
debate.
I'm sorry. Household debate.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I'll have to
Sure.
keep that in my mind
Okay. Oh, I
along
have
with all
so
the other
many. I could
crap that's in
rattle
there.
them off. Oh, like when does the AC come on? For me, a week ago. For my husband, we could go all summer.
Oh, God, no.
No, well,
Yeah, my
your
husband could
temperatures.
live. Yeah, my husband could live without the air, to be
If it
honest.
costs
But
money, we don't need it.
yeah. And I'm like, quite frankly, we do.
Quite frankly, if you want me to be a functioning human, I need to be cold.
Quite frankly, if you would like me to be a nice human, I would need to be cold.
He has asked me recently if I'm going through menopause because we'll be somewhere and I'm like, it's a million degrees in here, and he's like, it's warm.
Well, I mean, I think that we always joke because my husband's a mechanic that like my
Mhm.
thermostat is broken because my body does not regulate with whatever's happening outside. Okay.
Mm.
And so I
Oh yeah,
just think that men and women are different. And because we have so many hormones that are fluctuating all the
hmm
time, I think that there's just some moments in our life that we're like, we are fucking hot right now.
and I don't think people realize if we are mentally overwhelmed,
Mm-hmm.
we're hot,
Yeah.
we're uncomfortable, we're
It's
suddenly
getting hot in here.
stressed, we're sweating.
Yeah.
Someone sits next to me in church. I'm gonna die. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. I was a front row kid my whole life. Okay, I get to.
Oh, I am definitely not a front row
No,
in church. I'm like back of the church type gal.
we're not back at the church. I
I'm
need
just
the
like,
hot
don't
mess
talk to
group,
anybody.
please. Yeah,
I
that's
have a really hard time having friends. One, I
same.
think, is because I am so close to my sisters that I feel like I've grown up with like these best friends that have been just in my household with
Yeah,
me. So I've never felt like, I don't know.
yeah,
I've never had the need because I have that in family so much.
yeah.
I love
That's
having
really cool though.
friends.
Yeah,
It's different with my childhood friends, I will say. But I
yeah.
don't think that I'm
Same.
ever like you and Catherine know so much about my life.
Yeah,
And I feel like I don't give that to people and I don't give my
yeah.
full self to
Same.
anybody anymore. Like I
I
just
do.
don't.
I do feel like I've encountered a few people in my life that I have given that to, and we're all still really like I could call them. They might not pick up,
Right.
but they might call me back, and I could vent to them and talk to them. But yeah, in my actual day to day life, no, I don't have that with anybody.
Yeah, and I will say I know it's cliche, but literally my husband is my best friend.
Oh, same. Girl, same. And I don't know what the Instagram, I don't know what I did to the god of Instagram or the algorithm god that I believe in only one god, by the way. This is a
Yeah.
joke. But I have been getting pushed all that marriage stuff that I'm sending you, all the like girl, I like being with my husband. I'm like, preach it. Same. I don't want to be away from my if he can't come, I'm not coming.
Maybe you've been fed my stuff because I literally like all that
Maybe.
stuff all the time.
I don't spend much time on social media and like there are whole days I just delete it. I'm like, I'm over this. It just
I
annoys me that it's on
know.
my phone. Like I think about it. And so yeah, I love that content. It's hilarious. Spotify did me so dirty. So I'm reading a book in Spotify. It says free with Spotify Premium. Spotify, you know what you didn't tell me? That I was going to be able to listen to 98% of my book and get to just, the height of the book and then you get just past it and then this woman would come in and say, "You've reached your maximum listening hours for the month of
Ah!
books." Don't give me free books if they're 13 hours and I only get to listen to 11 and a half.
So now you have to wait till next month to finish your book. What
I
the
literally
heck?
got to the scene where the protagonist dies and then they're gonna bring her back. I just know because she's not really dead. It's you'll understand if you if you read it. And
Yeah.
anyways, I get to the part where she knows she's about to be brought back to life because she's inside somebody else's body. Again, weird. And then you've reached maximum listening hours for books. It's the
Wow.
first of the month. When is my billing cycle up? At least tell
Right?
me when I can listen more. Oh my gosh, I was so
Well,
mad.
that's sad.
Oh, at my desk, literal almost tears because the book was so good and got to that part.
Yeah.
And then it was like,
A
bye,
lot
bitch.
of people have read that. I've seen that freaking book everywhere.
Yeah, I only started listening to it because it was free. All right, Karen Reed, week 2.
Yes.
This trial's insane.
Yes, it's been a little boring.
So the reason it's boring is you're early in the trial. And the
Right.
way the first part of the trial should go is it's evidentiary. So yeah, what's wild, and I think they're doing this on purpose, is if you got to experience the Carrie Roberts and Jennifer McCabe testimony, what they're running into is a lot of the stuff isn't in evidence yet.
All right.
All right.
Let's get into Karen Reed's retrial.
Yes. Week 2.
Yeah.
They didn't have court today, which I have to say
Thank
thank
God.
you to Jesus because it's a lot. It's a lot listening to such boring testimony 7
Good
hours a
God.
day.
So
And
boring. I have not even finished her cross examination.
oh my gosh.
7 hours Emily Baker was on there.
It's technically not finished, but what was hilarious was at the end of the day, the judge was like, "We're done." Like, last question. So this judge always finishes at 4 p.m. So at 4
She's
p.m.
like,
she
I'm
goes,
going home.
she's like, "Last question." He asks a question, and the way Jennifer answers, he goes, "One more question, judge." And the judge goes, "One more." And he goes, "Because I can't leave it like that." And she goes, "Okay. So what we're not going to do." She's like, "Can we not keep commenting?" She's so mad. But for him, so if you watch Jennifer McCabe's testimony and this was your first time watching it, go back and watch last trials because her little miss, "I'm so sorry. Please, do you have that?"
Yeah.
is annoying because
Yeah.
the way she yelled on the stand last time,
Really?
he would be like, "Do you remember being interviewed by Proctor?" I don't know what his title is anymore, but she'd go, "Do you have that interview? Because I'd love to see it." And I
My
just want to punch her
God.
face every single time. And
She defensive.
this time she's like so kind.
Well, yeah, they prepped her ass real
Still
good.
lying. Yeah, but so kind. And it just makes me so mad because you hear her tell even a completely different story this time. There's new people. There's
Yeah.
new aspects to her story.
Which I will say is scary that there's new people, because
Yeah.
the documentary that I was telling you to watch,
Yeah. Oh,
dude,
yes.
this guy went through 4 trials. 4, because they wanted him to be guilty so bad. And they had one of the jurors on there, and she was like, heard that he had been found guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she saw one of the jurors that convicted him, or that said, hey, you're guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I realized I knew her. So I called her and I said, hey, how could you have found him guilty? And she said, how could you not? So they met up and started telling, like, oh, this happened, this happened. And the first juror realized that they had taken out so much of what happened
Mm-hmm.
and left out so much information that these new jurors were like, oh, yeah, guilty. So that's terrifying.
Yeah. And I hate it because I don't even know where to start because there's so many directions my mind goes. So the first one being, my sister texted me, hi Daria, and said, I really think Karen did it. There's evidence that her car accelerated in reverse and hit something and collided with an object. Yes, there is. And if you
Right.
would watch every second of this trial for now the second time, even if you watched it this first time, you've
Right.
already seen the footage of her freaking out that she realizes John isn't home, gets in her
Mm-hmm.
car, slams on the gas, bumps into his car, breaks her taillight.
Yeah.
And then you hear Carrie Roberts get on the stand and say, last time I testified, it was the middle of the taillight. And now she's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, that means the whole thing. Bitch, no, it doesn't. If you tell a mom, my baby just pooped in the middle of his diaper, and then a week later, I hear you telling that story and you're like, blew out all over the place, I'm be like, liar.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yeah. And I will say, I did not watch her previous testimony, but I watched Emily D. Baker watch it live.
Yeah.
And she did say that there was a lot of new things coming up. And she was like, what? Like,
Are you talking about,
where is this coming from? There was a couple things that she was like, what are you talking about?
are you
Where
talking
did
about
this come
Jennifer or
from?
Carrie? Sorry.
Jennifer McCabe.
Yeah, same.
There was a lot of things like the Tom Beatty thing.
See, I
She was
still
like,
didn't
who is
find
Tom
that.
Beatty?
Yeah, I still didn't see that because
Really?
I can't listen to her. I didn't listen to her direct. I can't.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
can't
had to
listen
finish
to
it all.
her be on the stand and pretend to be a nice human.
Yeah.
Like
I can imagine watching her previously and watching her now.
a solid 2 or 3 hours she was on the stand last time and she was yelling and she reminded me of every adult you've ever had in your life that told you something was wrong and it wasn't, or told you something wasn't wrong and it was. Like, she just reminded me of every bad human I've ever met.
Yeah.
And so to watch her direct and her be so kind and calm and collected, I just wanted to be like, show us who you are.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, they want her to be likable because last
yeah.
time she was so unliked.
Correct. Yes. And she knows that. And she's hyper aware of that. So she's clearly
for
had her
sure.
hair done and gets her makeup done and in a nice
And I'm sorry,
top.
you know she watched the last trial.
Did you hear her say, we have, me and all the witnesses that are best friends and talk every day, we have never discussed our testimony in this trial?
Lies. Yes, I did hear her say that.
If I testified in a court, I would call my best friend that day and be like, guess what I said?
And you know they're all talking because all these people know each other.
And if they didn't before, they do now.
They do now. Exactly.
This is Boston too. All these people,
Dude.
they knew Karen's accent was Fall City, whatever that means. So, and you hear all of them get up there and they're like, I've lived in Canton my whole life. And then the guy will say, you've never lived outside. And I'll be like, oh, I lived in that little town over there for a year. But I'm sorry, I'm using a country accent, but they're more like Boston. But I've just never even heard a Boston accent in real life.
Yeah. And I will
So,
say, that was the only thing I enjoyed about watching her testimony was hearing her say words funny.
oh,
That
yeah.
was it.
It's so weird because, I mean, you are in California. So does
Yeah.
anyone ever say, like, where are you from?
No.
Oh, I get asked that all the time.
Ever.
Because I say words funny, but not even just because I'm from California. Well, one, I say soda.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Soda.
Okay. So in Ohio, they say pop. Well, in the Midwest, they say pop.
Right.
In
They think
Texas,
soda is weird.
yes.
Oh.
But when I lived in Texas, the waitress comes to your table, and I'm having to explain it like this because it's just that weird. Waitress comes to your table, says, what do you want to drink? And you say, I want a Coke. She says, what kind? And you can say Dr.
Oh.
Pepper. But they say Coke for everything. And it's
Interesting.
Coke is a brand to me. Like Coke is
Yeah.
the name of what I want.
I would
Um,
say soda or pop, I would know exactly what you were talking about.
oh yeah, same. But if someone tells me they want a Coke, I'm not asking any more questions. I'm getting
Right.
them a
I'm
Coke.
giving you a Coke. You want a Coke? You're getting Coca-Cola.
Oh yeah. When I worked at Burger Basket, if someone had come through the drive-thru and been like, I want a tea, I would have been like an iced tea? Okay. But if they had been like unsweet, I would have been like, you're in the wrong state. we don't
Right?
we don't know what that means.
You want black iced tea?
I don't know what that means. We just get ours from the vending machine like everything else.
So while we were talking about before and after testimony
Yeah.
for Jennifer McCabe, I'm looking at his name is attorney Larry Foreman
Okay.
on YouTube. He is the lawyer that he's been putting previous testimony and this testimony
Yes.
together. He has not posted a
Her
video
video
yet of McCabe. The only thing he's posted is her deleted phone data. Just for audience.
Yes. We can post him.
Yes, we'll post a link to
Yes.
his YouTube and look out for that because I think that's going to be interesting to watch. And he's the only one I know that's putting them side by side.
Yeah. And if you want us to do a reaction video to that, let us know too. Anything you want us to cover,
that'd
just
be
let us know.
fun.
Yeah. I've had some people send me best friend Megan sent me. I have a lot of best friends. Suck it up. It was like a 2020 episode that was coming out like last night. And she's like, you guys need to cover this. And I was like,
Yeah.
does this mean you listen to our podcast? She goes, yes, and it's amazing.
I had somebody actually that was most of my kids' kindergarten teacher. And I had shared it on Facebook and she was like, oh my God, you have a podcast? Like, this is so good. It sounds so good. And I'm going to listen to you guys. So,
Oh, I love that.
shout out.
Yeah. Hi, guys. The 11 of you that consistently.
Yeah.
It's so funny because there's one lady at my work. She's not even in my office. She does not listen to podcasts, but she's older. She helped get me my job, and I'm so grateful for her. And I was emailing her today, and she's like, "How you doing?" And I was like, "I'm considering quitting my day job to look after my laundry because it's piling up." And I just thought, like, maybe in 5 years we can have a podcast big enough that we don't have to work because working is hard.
Yeah, that would be beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, and what I was going to say when you said the people with the fourth trial. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this. I don't know anything about the trial, but let me just say my 2 cents on where the heck the government spends money. I work in government funding currently. Well, I rely on government funding.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell my employers every day that the government funding is not going to come through. And it is getting more and more depressing. And then to hear that some state has tried someone 4 times, I just want to be like, Why?
I want to cover this story,
Okay.
especially because of all the shit that's going on with Karen Reed. And it's police, once again, that's involved in a case
Mm.
that they're trying to try this person that, in my opinion, is not. She guilty of things,
Yeah.
but not of killing John.
And that's when we circle around back to my sister is like, hi, Daria again. She could be guilty. She 100% could be guilty. She could have
Right.
scratched his arm. She could have beat the shenanigans out of him.
Yeah.
But you know what they're not claiming? That she did that. You know what they
Yeah.
didn't do? Collect the blood evidence in correct what did he call it in opening? I almost died, and I don't know if I told you this.
Mm-mm.
He said the evidence was collected in plastic containers.
Mm-hmm.
I think he even called them sterile. And Emily D. Baker said, I can't wait for this jury to see the red Solo cups.
Oh, yeah, because they have not seen any
No,
of that, which is crazy
no.
because, like, so this jury, not all evidence is out yet. So
Correct.
it is frustrating to have to sit there and they're just
Mhm.
talking about just like boring, mundane things
Yeah.
because
Oh,
they can't
yeah.
ask questions about
Yeah.
evidence.
Correct. You talked about the cell phone guy and how boring he was.
Ah, so boring.
Did you notice they didn't cross him?
Yeah. It was just
Okay.
direct.
So he is being called for direct, and they're doing it smartly. They're bringing in itty bitty chunks at a time, but he has to testify into how he collected them. So they're
Mm-hmm.
bringing him in a little bit at a time. Once they direct, well, I know why they're waiting on direct because I think they're waiting for some doors to be opened. The other
They're
case I
waiting for
sent you,
direct or they're waiting for cross?
or they're waiting for cross. Sorry. They're waiting for cross because that man, the other case that I sent you about the girl who her case was originally deemed a suicide,
Mm-hmm.
but it was later found that a cop murdered her and her unborn child and staged the suicide. And in the original investigation, the very man that is sitting on that stand testifying about Karen Reed's cell phone data said that that cop and that girl had had no communication.
Really?
Yes. So he is also under fire, and that's what they're waiting on is how are you going to tell us that this stuff is correct when
Right.
we know for a fact you've lied in other
Oh,
testimony?
no.
Oh yeah.
Great.
And that girl who was murdered, I think she was like 22 when she was murdered. She was 12 when she first started sleeping with this man because the police department, of all police departments, has a mentoring group where they bring in young ladies and they teach them how to be
Wow.
upstanding citizens. What's crazy is when she died and it was ruled a suicide, her friends started calling the police department and they were like, liars.
Really?
Her friends basically said this cop did it. And
Well, I hope if I murdered my three
same,
friends that I have, come out to
same.
bat for me.
Oh my gosh. I went to Corpus one year for a wedding. It was after we moved. And I was going out to dinner and I saw this homeless guy and the other part of my dad that is instilled in me was like, I need to buy him some food. So I was like,
Yeah.
hey, will you come to dinner with me? And he was like, sure. So I texted the 10 most recent people on my phone and said, I'm going to dinner at this restaurant. I'm sharing my location. Here's the guy I'm with. That could be a lie though. So if you don't hear from me in an hour, I might be dead.
That's good though
Yeah.
that you shared all that.
Always a backup plan.
If you can't tell, we're just having a chit chat.
Yeah.
Okay, we're tired.
We have real lives outside of here. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
And we've been editing all week.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we filmed way too long last weekend.
Yeah.
And do you ever have, like, when you have anxiety, like your chest gets heavy, like it hurts, like it's bruised almost?
Mm-hmm.
That's been my whole day. And I'm like, why? And then the book thing, but I was like, I just can't catch a break.
This book thing just sent you over the edge.
Set me over the edge. It was one of those days where you text your spouse and you're like, do you even like who I am?
Oh my God. Yeah, I've had those days too.
He's like, I don't think I've changed. What do you mean? I'm like, you don't think you've changed? You don't think if you walked up to me and said the things you say to me now that I would have just not turned around and because we love each other, we know who we are. So we say
Yeah.
funny things. But
Yeah.
we're definitely, 13 years. We're old as hell.
Me and my husband will be together total years, 16 years this year.
That's wild.
And our daughter is turning 15. You do the math.
That's insane.
I know.
Which is
Sometimes
crazy.
I look at him and I'm like, bro, I can't believe I'll put up with you for 16 years.
Girl, I remember when you met him and you were like, I met this man at a car wash.
Oh, I love him to death. He is the smartest person and he has the biggest heart to help people. Oh, I still love him so much.
I feel the same way. Like,
yeah,
every time we went to a recital at one of our kids' schools yesterday. I promise this loops back around. And
one of the many.
He was like, look, oh my gosh, these freaking recitals. Can y'all give us more notice?
Yeah.
Call me. I know you have 100 parents. You don't have to call all of them. But the hot mess ones, we do need a phone call or a text. Just text
or
me.
Send me a paper.
Or a Google Calendar alert.
Send me something. I agree.
A text the day before is not helpful. Not a text. No, it's not even a text. No. It's like a thread in the app. Anyways, we're at that recital. John was like, I'm looking around this room, seeing a lot of dads with their car dealership polos on, and I do not miss that life.
Right.
And it's just so funny because even when we were in that period of life, he was good at his job, but he was good with people. Like, people loved him. And the company moved him around a lot because it was like you could put him in a
like
store.
Him. We like you.
And the team would like him. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Husbands are awesome.
I was going to say, when you find a good one, they're great.
They're so great.
I did jot some things down last night, tippity tapping on my keyboard.
Tell me about
And I noticed Jen's demeanor changed immediately when she was being cross-examined.
I will say she's very good this time around at when she can tell that he's getting heated. She takes a breath and she calms down. And she knows none of her shit's in evidence. No cop has been like, Jennifer McCabe told me X, Y, and Z. So she can get up there and say, I don't know what I told them.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Don't recall. These people, we talked about this before, these people have the best and most clear, and they all claim it's gotten better with time, the absolute best memory.
Yeah.
Then you're like, but what did you tell the police? I don't recall.
Yeah. I love that Alan Jackson was like, so were you told to tell stories about yourself and, paint this picture of like, I'm soccer mom?
And you could tell she was because he had those questions lined up, but she didn't even let him get to them.
Yeah.
Like, he'd say, tell me about yourself. And I've been coaching basketball for 15 years. And he's like, so have you ever worked in the community? Oh, yeah, I've been coaching basketball. It's like, oh, you bet you already said that. Shut up.
Yeah,
you didn't wait for the question. So
she's wild. I thought it was interesting because I did watch that boring guy talking about her phone and the things that he was saying about her fucking search history about the Haas long to die in cold.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's saying that happened at 6 a.m. now.
So I think you were watching the Celebrate Expert. So here's what's wild. And you don't get this piece of information because it was found out in the first trial. So when they first pulled that information off her phone, the timestamp did say 2:37 a.m., 2:38, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You would like to think these people are not corrupt. And then you're like, who the frick from Boston works for Celebrate? They
Yeah.
changed the way their entire database works. So now there's just no timestamp. We're just like, you know what? 240 wasn't working for us. So we're just going to say, fuck it.
Well, then he was saying, like, oh, well, if you open Safari and you search for something and you don't exit out, the timestamp will stay the same. But if you open it again, search for something, and completely close it out, the timestamp changed. So I'm like, then why are we relying on this?
Also, Celebrate is the lead. Like, that is what everyone uses to investigate phones. So here's my question. This is evidence that potentially, this is why we need to do an evidentiary video, but has this evidence ever been used to put anybody else behind bars? Because we see their Google searches, and let's be honest, you don't want to see my Google searches.
Yeah, I would never show mine. No, thank you.
How deep to actually bury a body to who the hell is Jennifer McCabe? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But seriously, if that's ever been used to show that somebody, Casey Anthony, these are all my own opinions, and I personally believe that Casey Anthony did bad things as a human being, and her Google searches are very telling. And I don't know how a jury ever found her not guilty.
Same.
And now I'm worried for Karen Reed. But
same. Especially with all the Boston cops. You know what I found interesting? First of all, if you are a cop, are you asking a witness at the scene to go wake up the people in the house?
I don't care how well I know you. This is the next thing. If you guys have not watched her testimony, I am sorry. You just need to. We'll put her in the description box. Imagine, let me set the scene for you. We'll back it up a minute. We'll just set the scene for you. Yes, it's your sister's and brother-in-law's house. He is a Boston PD man. Okay. Carries a gun.
Yeah.
Although the guns, there's going to be more guns coming up in this trial, and he likes to drink and loses his gun quite often, but that's another story. It might be a different cop too, but anyways, they're all weird. They're all insane. Yeah. At your sister's house, your brother-in-law is an active police officer, carries a weapon. They have a dog that was an active canine officer in their house, supposedly sleeps in their bedroom. It is 5 or 6 in the morning, and you're going to walk. She said run. I ran through their front door. You're going to run through their front door, up the stairs, fling open their bedroom door.
Yeah.
And then be like, wake up, and call their names and stuff. And you didn't think about a gun or a dog?
And you think that dog isn't going to react to that? When it's a retired police dog?
Have you seen, I don't know where I saw this, but there is evidence that like she never went to sleep that night. Like her phone was just constantly active. Calling, Googling, texting, she's the butt dial queen, right?
Yeah, I have read that.
Yeah. So what if they were also awake?
Yeah. Everybody was awake. Are you kidding me? After this happens? And you
haven't even heard yet. So other things that are going to come up in trial is there's a girl who's at the bar with them. She's one of the nieces, and her boyfriend is a plow truck driver. Man, there's so many people. I don't know why they are pulling these. I know why they're pulling these people out of order,
but they're so random.
Super annoying. Yes. This guy is a plow truck driver, so he leaves the bar and drives home because he has to be up at 4:30 in the morning. That niece plans to stay at the Alberts' home. Boyfriend says bye. She says bye. Everybody's safe. He leaves because he has to be up at 4:30 in the morning. When Jennifer McCabe starts to leave, supposedly in the same time frame, so she leaves. We know she leaves around 1:30.
Yeah.
That girl that was supposed to stay the night at the Alberts' house calls her boyfriend and tells him she needs him to get up and come pick her up. By the way, they lived like 45 minutes away. So then he needed to wake up when he needs to be up in 2 hours to start plowing roads and come all the way across town and pick her up. And she's the one that on the stand last time they said, "Did you take Chloe with you?"
Okay.
And she was like, "What?" Bitch, you heard me.
Right.
Did you take Chloe? Because after you leave, dog's never seen again.
Yeah.
Like,
She's
ever.
nowhere to be found.
Yeah. But it's just
I'm interested to see if they find her. Did they find her? The dog.
Chloe. They did find her, and supposedly one of the prosecutors' witnesses went and like did a dental thing on her, but I don't think that's allowed to come in. I think I think the judge said that she's not going to let that in because that science has been debunked.
I thought it was interesting too that she said that his door was unlocked. Bro, he is a fucking cop. I have never met a cop that doesn't sleep with their freaking door locked.
Literally. I was thinking that too. And or their firearm beside their bed.
Right. Also,
like
the fact that he did not come outside after he was woken up to see what was going on with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You would think, oh, somebody was found on my lawn. He's my friend, my fellow police officer.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go outside. Nah. And Emily D. Baker said what was new is that she admitted that Langton went inside the house with her.
Yes. And Anne was the one to tell her. So this is even more wild, right? Because he hasn't been on the stand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Or has he?
This time? Or ever?
Yeah. This time.
This time, I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think any of the police officers.
Yeah, they have not done any police officers.
So she says, he told me to. So I run in and wake them up. Then he also comes in. And then he came back later in the day. Now, I do think I remember that. So she explains, and this is why her testimony is so all over the place when it comes to, I hit him. Because that man leaves. Then hours later, she's like, wait, I forgot to tell you things. Can you come back over? He comes back over, and still, she never mentions. It was 2 years after the accident before she ever once said that Karen Reed said I hit him.
It's like at that point, why are you even saying anything?
Well, and even in the first trial, that might be when she said it, but like before that, it had always been, did I hit him? Could I have hit him? Which like everyone's gonna think. Like I think that every time I pull in my driveway and my dog's running around.
Right.
So frustrating.
Jen McCabe saying that Karen doesn't even remember driving to 34 Fairview. She never once mentioned that in her documentary. She never said, I don't remember this. So I'm confused.
Right. So that is accurate. Karen, the first, supposedly. So that's what's hard too, is we never know what's said on these phone calls and they keep changing it. But one of the early things that was said was when Karen called Jennifer McCabe the first time, she said, I can't find John. I know I left him with you guys at the waterfall last night. He never came home. And then Jennifer was like, no, you came to the house, which I think we have enough people, although none of these people can tell the truth to save their lives. We have enough people that say she was in the SUV. And she seems to now remember being in the SUV.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know if rage can affect. I think she was so mad that he didn't come home.
Pissed.
And there was discussion, because even Jennifer McCabe said it on the stand. She offered for Karen or John to ride with her.
Right.
At the waterfall. So I do wonder if in Karen's replaying of her night, because she left him there and went home, the last time she did see Jennifer McCabe was the waterfall.
Yeah.
So in her memories and her rage, was she like, the last time I saw him, but she meant you, was at the waterfall? Where did John go? Because she
Yeah.
thinks Jennifer has seen John.
Right.
And when people are like, she acts guilty, she acts this or that, if you take out the craziness of their relationship, because we can all agree, like, clearly it was unstable and clearly they were in a weird place.
Yeah.
But these people had experienced more in their lifetime than I could ever. She has a detrimental diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
His sister dies a month
And
after finding a brain
husband.
tumor. And then the husband has a heart attack.
Yeah.
He is named guardian over what at the time was like a kindergartner and a second or third grader. And he's like, what do I do? And he's a Boston cop. I just can't imagine having all that and then having to navigate. I still have to find a life partner.
Yeah.
Runs into Karen, loves Karen, but clearly they're adults with drama too. Like they're not early in their adulthood. They're middle-aged too. And they're having to navigate that and kids. So chaos be damned, because can you imagine yourself dating right now? What it would be like?
No. Ew. I don't even want to think about it. It's gross.
Same. And imagine having a terminal illness also.
Yeah.
And one that affects your bowels and your movements. And you're dating this hot shot police officer who gets to be with all these beautiful people all the time. Like, they don't have to be beautiful, but you know what I mean? Like, just around other people that bodies function normally. And their whole existence together was stressful. And if you can put all that aside and look at the night from the lens of, she was pissed. They had been fighting for days. And she's like, I am not sitting here outside this bar. We don't know how intoxicated she was. So she might have been like, y'all, I'm just so tired. I want to go home.
I mean, seems pretty intoxicated if at 6 a.m. the next day she's still drunk.
I don't know that I believe she was still drunk.
Maybe she was in shock.
I think she was in shock. So that's the thing that in everyone's testimony drives me crazy, when Carrie and Jen are like, she didn't even take her shoes off when we walked in his house. If I'm missing, don't worry about my carpets, please.
For real.
If it's going to take you an extra 10 or 15 minutes, bring the mud. I will clean them when I'm found.
I thought that was annoying too. I'm like, why does this matter?
The amount of times they say she was screaming and freaking out. And like, even when they found the body.
Lady Baker's like, this is his girlfriend. Why? I think it's still so crazy that they think it's insane that she would react this way. Like, it's strange how she was acting. Okay.
The thing where Jennifer says, I didn't want to wake them up and make them think something terrible had happened. Bitch, something terrible happened.
Yeah.
There's a dead body on their lawn.
Yeah, I also love that they brought up the 911 call where she was like, there's a man on a lawn.
Passed out on the lawn. He's
like,
just
she
sleeping.
didn't know him. She's like, well, I was just trying to give general information. Like, okay.
Did you hear where, no, because you probably, it's towards the end of yesterday's
I didn't hear it
cross.
then. I'm going to watch it though, because I want to see the whole thing and I want to hear everything.
Okay. Well, he's just asking her like general descriptions, and he's like, is this not outside the Albert's house? And she's like, outside and to the side. Bitch.
So it is. Yeah.
So it's outside their house. If you were looking out a window, you could see it. And she's like, well, it's kind of in their side yard.
Oh my God.
That's
like,
what
okay,
I'm like,
lady, it's still their yard.
Want to smack you. We're going to circle back real quick to the never known a cop to sleep with their door open and without their side piece. Gloria and I are not strangers to cops.
No.
My dad's best friend when I was in elementary and middle school was a cop. He was a sheriff. And my best friend growing up, his dad was an LAPD detective. And then his son became a cop, and just, we're not strangers to the police officers. We've never been
Right.
arrested. I haven't. Have
No,
you?
I have not.
Okay. So
I've been pulled
when
over.
oh, same. The stop signs on Avenue O
Yeah.
heading in and out of town, if you
Mm-hmm.
roll through those, in
You get pulled
California
over.
law, they give you a speeding ticket, which is like $300, whereas a stop sign ticket is like $100.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and it stays on your record. And then if for some reason you don't go to court, it comes up later when you want a driver's license in another state.
No freaking way.
To be fair, I did go to court and I was not on the record. So what happened was, supposedly, this cop left it on his desk for a few years and then was like, "Oh, I need to file that."
Oh my
But court had
God.
already come and gone. And luckily my dad thought ahead because we were moving. So he got the
Yeah.
paperwork. And when I went to get a Texas driver's license, they were like, "You have a bench warrant?"
Oh shit.
So I'm going to give you back your driver's license and you're welcome to leave, but you can't get a Texas driver's license. And I was like, cool. But after 7 years, it falls off. So it's fine.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy.
Literally my last 2 weeks in California got a freaking speeding ticket. And oh my gosh, don't even get me started on firefighters, Christy, because the first time she came to our house, she goes, "So you don't have smoke detectors?
Oh.
Where's your nearest fire extinguisher?" And I was like,
One
She
of
goes,
those.
"Your nearest hydrant," she's like, "is like a mile away." And I was like,
Oh,
"Thanks for the information.
dang.
I don't know what you're talking about." She's like, she like made us go get smoke detectors. So now we have so many smoke detectors. We have smoke detectors in drawers that we don't know where to put because we run out of places to put smoke detectors, but we're protected.
Well, I don't have any, so
Oh,
you know.
well, you could send you some.
One last thing I'll talk about for her, because this is like as far as I've gotten into her testimony. When she talked about the FBI going to her house and she told them she needed 10 minutes, and then in her interview they were like, "So in that 10 minutes, did you call anybody?" And she was like, "Yeah." And they
First of
asked her
all,
who she
they
called.
read her so good. They were like,
Yeah.
"Bitch, who did you call?
Yeah.
Who did you call?"
She was probably like, "Oh my God, what?"
First of all, I don't think she knew at the time why the FBI was poking around.
No, she didn't. That's why she called Carrie Roberts.
But for the FBI to be so in tune with this entire chaos, and by the way, we have never learned why or what the FBI was investigating. So we keep
Right.
thinking it's in relation to this case, but I wonder if it's the whole Boston Police Department or
Well,
something
I
bigger.
fucking hope so. Something needs to go on in there, because with the amount
Yeah.
of scandals and the amount of cases
Yeah.
that people are being tried and convicted
Yeah.
of crimes that they did not do.
Yeah. So you do have to you do have to tell the audience. So when the FBI, well, when the FBI first walks up to her, what does Jennifer McCabe do? First, they
I think
approach
she
her.
was. Didn't she lie and say she was Nicole?
She said, "I'm Nicole. I don't know who you're looking for." And then she walks in her house.
She's like, "Well, I thought they were selling something." Bitch, you didn't look at them and go, "They're fucking police."
You live with the police. Well, you don't live with the police. You know a fair share of police officers in every direction, in every
Yeah.
precinct in your area, and you didn't look at them and think FBI.
Yeah, I feel like they carry themselves and they have a certain demeanor about them.
Police are not walking up to you in hoodies.
No, I'm sure these dudes were in suits.
And they had the military cut. They pulled up in a black
Oh, yeah.
SUV, ma'am. We already know.
Yeah, they're trying to sell you vacuums, lady. Come on.
Yeah, because people still do sort of do that.
All right.
Okay.
I think we're going to go through some Reddit about this Karen Reed retrial. I seen one that they think Colin Albert was the one to kill him. And they seem to think it's because he's apparently always wanting to fight people
He is
and
always
he
wanting to fight
loves
people.
trouble. Yeah.
Have you seen the video of him? And knowing where we grew up, and if you were white, first of all, we didn't grow up in suburbs. That was not a thing.
No.
If you were white, you lived in the same neighborhood as everybody else.
Yeah.
But knowing that this kid grows up in Boston, which Boston is Boston, I get it. It's its own level of trouble.
Yeah.
But he grows up in a rich suburb protected by police uncles and stuff. And then gets on this video and is like, y'all want to pull up?
Really? I have
You haven't
not seen
seen
that.
that?
No.
Against another hockey team.
Really?
A hockey team. Rich white people play hockey so that they get to beat people up.
Yeah.
Why do you have to call them out? You do your Reddit thing. I'm going to find said video.
It says this guy's replying to this Reddit post. He says a handful of people have confirmed this, that know the families or the kids are friendly with the kids that were there that night for BA Jr.'s birthday. They all know, and it sounds like a handful of them have spilled the truth ever since that night because of a guilty conscience. Only to close friends, though, and when drunk. I think the FBI is going to wind up having to be the ones to take care of this, if I'm honest. Wow, so people, I mean, I don't know where they're getting this information from, but people seem to think that he did it, and people are saying that he did.
So, one thing I will say is in the first trial, I really don't think the Higgins aspect was given enough of a platform, even until you said that you thought Higgins did it. I didn't even think Higgins was at the house that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought he was like left at the bar. He's the one that goes back to like move cars. So
Yeah.
in my head, I was like never thinking, oh, Higgins did it because he was already removed. It never came together that he could have been the person that did it. So
Right.
they did bring Colin really heavily into the first trial as being the possible person that did it. So
You know, those freaking, like, I don't even know what these things are called, but there's like these pictures going around where people will put them, like, it's like a little action figure and it's like everything that they're about.
those are so cool though.
There's
I'm
one
like,
with Jennifer McCabe on here.
No matter the weather, no matter the pain, the kick always starts the game. The team must run it back as far as they can while the opposing team tries to defend. Pass or run, you don't want to finish last 4 15-minute quarters to decide the winner. Practice is the key to a successful team. Playoffs is where they want to be. The loser goes home empty handed, and the winner moves on with the Super Bowl in view. The few will take home the glory, and that's the end of the story.
You're a bitch, bro. Fuck you. Yeah, fuck you, you pussy. Yeah. Clean cold, boy. You be knocked out. KO. Bang, bang.
Wow.
I just knowing. Oh, man.
Oh, goodness gracious. I didn't know he was this wild.
No, and that's the thing is he that wild?
He seems like a crazy person.
But so yeah, that's how they brought Colin into the last trial. And I don't think they were able to get that video in, but they were able to get in there were pictures of him after, like, the week after John O'Keefe died with His knuckles were all cut up. And so
I heard that.
So that was their thing, was they were like, your knuckles were all cut up. So how are you going to convince us that
Right.
you were not fighting? And he's like, I never fight. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
All right. I'm going to send you the Reddit post with the picture because I can't figure out how to save it. I'm technology stupid, which is weird because I grew up in technology, but I'm literally dumb when it comes to technology.
I know. The queen of AOL, of AIM.
Was that me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. I still think about that to this day.
You were the only person I ever spoke to on AIM.
I loved AIM. I was on there every day after school, dude.
We can insert it in here. So insert Jennifer McCabe here. I think we'll be able to. I can try.
It says Paul O'Keefe showed up with Aaron O'Keefe yesterday. I don't know who Aaron O'Keefe is. And it says, and they were reportedly admonished. I don't even know what that word means.
Admonished is when, well, who does it say they were admonished by?
Auntie Bev.
Yeah, the judge. So they did something in the courtroom and she told them to cut it out.
Oh, okay. So during the long morning break for making faces at Karen Reed that the jury could see. I didn't know that.
So Paul O'Keefe is John's brother.
I figured that.
And Aaron might be his son. I don't know. So admonish, like anytime a lawyer is making crazy comments and the judge says, okay, let's stop making that's an admonishment.
Okay.
Yeah. So anytime anybody in the courtroom does something and the judge is like, cut that out, that's an admonishment.
Okay.
Now I'm like, am I saying it weird?
I know, it's a weird word.
It is. No, there's so many weird words in court that you're like, what does that mean?
Oh my gosh. Somebody did a video where they pulled into 34 Fairview driveway and pulled out to see if you could see a body on the lawn in the night.
That's what gets me. So in her last testimony, I'll talk about her last testimony.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing, was peripheral vision is like,
Right.
there is a tree at the very corner of my yard. My yard is big.
Right.
And if I look at that tree, yes, if there was a dead body in my yard, I would see it.
Right.
On this side, I guess.
Yeah.
But if I were in my car, for example, recently I was pulling out of my driveway one morning and I went, oh shit, some drunk driver took out my mailbox again. But like, that's the point, right? Is my mailbox was to the left in a ditch.
Yeah.
But I knew it was gone the minute I looked at my yard and it didn't look normal.
Yeah. And I know there was a blizzard, but like even more so, you'd be able to see it, right? Because it's white out.
And when Jennifer McCabe pulled out, this is where she gets me. She's like, the minute we were pulling out, I turned around to talk to the girls in the back seat about peanut butter and jelly. Were you singing peanut butter jelly time? Because I feel like that's not a real story.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And this post says, I have faith that the jurors in the Karen Reed trial will reach a not guilty verdict, as I believe they will rely on concrete evidence. I hope so.
Yeah, and even when you think about the timestamp.
Yeah.
When they first did that extraction, the timestamp said 2:37 a.m.
Yeah.
So if that has changed, fine. Then we're not putting Jennifer McCabe on trial. Jennifer McCabe is not the one fighting for her life. But you know what? She's sure making up lies like she is.
Right?
So even if she didn't, Google search aside, say she didn't make that Google search ever. Say she never made it. She's still changing her testimony every single time she testifies.
Yeah.
She's testified now 3 times, and every single time there's a change.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share our screen and share this.
Also, before you play this, did they move from this house?
Within weeks, like months. So,
Girl, I would too.
so hold on though. Dog was rehomed. All the cell phones were rehomed the day before they were supposed to turn them into the police. Higgins destroyed his phone, then took the SIM card out and broke it in half. He dropped the phone in a dumpster somewhere random. And for his SIM card, he drove to the local military base and pulled on base and threw it in a dumpster. This man was supposed to turn in his phone to the police in this investigation the very next day.
Right.
And he did that? Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's like, tell me even more how you are all not guilty. Tell me how you're not involved in this.
And once again, they're not the ones fighting for their lives.
No.
In all of this, they could have kept whatever shit was on their phone on a USB and nobody ever would have known the difference because nobody ever served these people with search warrants or anything. Meanwhile, Karen Reed is suspected of running a cop over. And instead of protecting the scene, they never sectioned off a scene. They never treated it as a murder. They never collected evidence properly. They failed to separate witnesses. They failed to interview most people. And when they did interview them, they had all already sat down and made a timeline.
Which I think is so weird and suspect to me.
Yeah.
Y'all sus as hell.
And they're not on trial. That's the most frustrating thing is this case in any piece of evidence in a vacuum can look weird or one thing can look off.
Right.
Or one thing can look like it's incriminating. Like the fact that her black box says she hit something. But like, then you remember the video we're about to show you. These people pulled out of this driveway. Imagine the ground is white, but there's only like an inch or two of snow.
Yeah.
Inch or two of snow. They're pulling out of this yard at this time of night. The ground is white. And we're supposed to believe they didn't see a 6'2" man laying in the snow.
And he was found laying by this flagpole you're going to see.
Yeah. And on the 911 call, I will say this was also new. Jennifer McCabe said they found him face down.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
I have never heard that before. Like in anybody's testimony. Even she's never testified that. But on the 911 call, she said, yeah, they're flipping him over. What? Why? I thought she hit him and he fell and died.
Yeah.
Here's the video. Maybe. Oh, there is no sound. Okay, so the body would have been right here. The flagpole's so much farther in the yard than I expected.
Yeah.
There's no
way you don't see a body laying there. I'm sorry.
Or I'm back to that.
Even in bad weather.
Side yard, my ass. They don't have a side yard. They have another house. His body would have been right here. 6 foot tall. 6 foot. No.
Yep.
No. Oh, yeah. Rehomed the phones, rehomed the dog, rehomed the house. They all just left.
Yeah, or completely destroyed their phones. Completely deleted everything on them. Which is crazy to me.
That guy said Jennifer McCabe's phone had 1,000+ things that had been deleted off her phone. And he could not get it to duplicate. He couldn't attribute it to her. This is the prosecution's witness.
Right.
Couldn't attribute it to her, but also could not figure out how it did it.
Yes.
You mean like...
I'm like, is she that smart?
Police server? No.
Oh. I didn't think about that.
Think about if you're not... Like if you have it in the locked position, because it can tell, you know? What if you have it locked and you have it hooked up to a what do they call those computers when they're like isolated? They're not hooked up to internet or anything. You can access your phone.
I did
and
not think
delete
about
things.
that. That is so true.
So it's funny that this guy, that his whole job is to know how things are done on phones. And he can tell someone didn't manually delete it off the phone via the screen.
Right.
But he can't tell you how it was deleted. And nobody ever asks. So I'm shocked that no one's been like, you didn't think to see, like, can you tell when it's plugged in?
Right. Maybe
I
you
just
can't.
thought of that
I
on
don't
the
know.
spot. I'm so smart. I wish we could be detectives. Like, I wish I didn't have to ever be a cop, and I could
Just be a detective.
put us mamas on it. We got it. We can
Right?
gut read them 100%. We can tell if someone's lying. We can see behind our heads. So according to this, at 8:35 p.m., she texts him, sure, she's on her way, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The next text she sends is at 12:55, and it says, I'm going home. Then in a minute, well, same minute, she texts, see you later. And then at 1:02, because she gets home, she says, your kids are cucking, but I think she means ducking. Alone. All caps alone. Your kids are alone, bro.
Yeah.
And then it says 1:02. And then 1:04, she texts and says, I'm back in Mansfield. The kids are home alone. Those are her texts.
So she legit went all the way to her house.
No. So, and this is why I'm like, I'm with you, girl. You know when someone's making you mad and you're like, I'm leaving, or I'm pregnant. Who knows? Who knows what somebody would do in this situation?
Right.
And it would cause that person to panic and then come home.
Yeah.
Her saying, your kids are home alone.
Yeah.
He's like, my kids, I'm going home. I think she thought him knowing that his kids were home alone, because the plan was always for her to go back to Mansfield. She didn't want to get stuck in Canton.
Right.
But she didn't want to leave his kids home alone. So she said she got back home, saw that he wasn't there, because clearly he wasn't there. He was at the house with everyone else.
Right.
So she texted him and said, your kids are home alone. I'm going back to Mansfield.
Okay.
And then she laid on... This is how I know. I know this woman was doing her best to bring that man home. She's like, I'm just going to sleep on the couch and I'm going to piss him off when he gets here. But she thought he'll be here in a minute.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling him.
So you think she kind of was like messing with him to get him to come home?
Correct.
Okay.
I think she was making him think that his kids were alone and unprotected.
Right.
And that he would come barreling through the door any minute.
That makes sense.
I will say, so I didn't read all the texts, but there's a whole text thread starting from 9 a.m. that morning of like their fights. And I scrolled down and these are the comments. So it's just a whole day of text messages between a couple saying like, bro, I'm struggling and I'm struggling too. And I love you, but we're having a hard time. Yeah, we're having a hard time. And then it comes down to, hey, I want to go out tonight. Do you want to come out with me? Like, we'll just be in love and just hang out.
Yeah.
So the first comment says, to be honest, I expected the texts and voicemails to be really bad overall.
Yeah.
Thus far, I see a lot of standard couple bullshit.
Right?
And then someone responded to that and said, yeah, most of us have sent these texts when your relationship is faltering.
Right.
And then someone said, God, this makes me feel like a shining beacon of healthy communication. My girlfriend and I have never sent texts like this since we first got to... Okay, well, oh, well, sir, I I hate to tell you this, but you've been with your girlfriend for 10 years. One of you is not communicating. 'Cause they're still
Also,
girlfriends.
maybe after 10 years, she shouldn't be a girlfriend.
That's
are
my
weird.
point. She
People are
clearly hasn't
weird,
been like,
bro.
you need to be my fiance.
Yeah.
He said, my girlfriend and I haven't sent texts like this since we first got together like 10 years ago. We were so much younger and immature. And then he does say, I do agree, this is fairly mild. But somebody
Yeah.
responds to him and says, because y'all grew up and matured together, which is awesome. Seems like both John and Karen had immature ways of communicating and they were healing their bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. And then Buggy Girl says, these texts are so relatable.
She's like,
If
oh my
fights
God, same.
Yeah. She said if fights at this level frequently led to homicide,
Bro, right?
the human race.
That's true.
Hey, Buggy Girl, have you scrolled YouTube lately? Because I think it, yeah.
I think it has.
She said if this led to homicide, the human race would be no more. Well, we are fast approaching.
Yeah, we're getting there. We are getting
commented and said, this is them communicating. They're doing a pretty decent job at it. Usually when humans vent enough steam like this, they don't murder their partners.
It's so
I am
true.
not prepared. I keep starting these thinking, oh, that's so sweet. And then get to the word murder. And I'm like, this is so weird. She said, I 100% don't think she did it on purpose. I don't really think she killed him at all at this point. But if her car somehow magically killed him, I think it was a drunken accident and she really had no clue.
Well,
amen.
It's so true, though.
And here's the thing. If she hit him, if all Karen Reed did, because all they're saying, right, is that she hit him.
Yeah.
She backed into him and then she was like, bye, bitch.
Yeah. Like, what happens then?
What happened?
Yeah.
Did somebody then come out? What are those things? Rototillers, or like where they pull up the like? What then ran over him?
I truly think that she would just get manslaughter, right?
If she just hit him.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is his injuries. Okay, I beg of you, if you are one of the people that are still on the fence of Karen Reed is completely guilty, she hit him. Fine.
Right.
Please, one, look up person gets bumped into by a car. And then I want you to look up the images of John O'Keefe's body.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to wonder, why are there no pictures of his abdomen or his legs? It's all just his face and his arms, and he's beat to limit. It looks like a dinosaur got a hold of this man.
Yeah.
And having, I don't want to brag, but 3 people in my family that have been run over. And I would like to tell you, one of them got run over and then backed back over. Mm-hmm. And then the other 2, they just got run over crossing streets. They are all okay.
Yeah.
And none of them came out looking like they got in a dog fight.
Yeah.
So.
And their injuries probably were consistent with being hit by a car. But this is
my
not.
Cousins, he definitely looked like he got run over and run back over. But the other 2 that just got run over once, they fared okay.
Yeah.
They're related. They are brother and sister.
How does this
It happened years apart, and I still can't believe it.
That's crazy. But yeah, I think.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just going to read something. It says, when anxiously attached people sense emotional distance or feel insecure in their relationship, protest behavior is triggered. This looks like testing the relationship. I'm going home, bitch. Your kids are alone.
Yeah.
Constant texting or calling.
Mm-hmm.
Making threats. Exaggerated emotional response. And put yourself in that. I've been in that.
Yeah.
In really extreme portions of my life, and put yourself in that exaggerated emotional response for a minute.
Right.
You're already thinking the absolute worst scenario, except for your worst
Yeah.
scenario is they chose someone else.
Yeah.
But you're already in shock. You're already in panic. You're already in fight or flight.
Yeah.
I genuinely think when she started calling people that morning and started asking them to come help, I think she thought they were going to find him at some slut's house.
Well, yeah, Jennifer McCabe even said in the car, she just kept asking, do you think he cheated on me? Do you think he's cheating on me?
Yeah.
That's truly what she thought was happening. Like, oh, he went home with some girl.
Yeah. And I genuinely think she was already in panic mode from
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah,
my.
I agree.
So I think everything that follows after her calling, her texting, her racing her car
Right.
out of the driveway, she genuinely thought the man she wanted to be with forever and wanted to make things work with and was raising 2 children with. She thought it was over. She thought it
Yeah.
had hit the fan the night before.
Yeah.
And then she found him dead.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap this video up here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. And remember, there's a lot more court days to come. So,
And so much court happening this year. Like currently we're covering Karen Reed, but we're looking at Corey Richens, the woman who murdered her husband and then wrote a book about it to soothe her kids.
Yes.
She's going to court. And then the Idaho 4 murders are going to court.
And we will be covering that.
Yes. And
because that
shit pops up
case
every day. So
yeah,
the Idaho 4 case, I followed it really closely in the beginning and just have not since, but
I haven't either.
we will dive into that for sure.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's been like 3 or 4 years since that happened.
yeah, and a lot of these cases, there's so much to them. There's so much evidence. There's so much people involved. There's so much court to get through. So it is going to take a while.
I will say,
sure.
and we can leave this in, one of the biggest, I've always wanted to talk about true crime and I've always wanted to do this podcast. I've been telling Gloria about it for years. But now that we're doing it, and I love it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Just new things pop up every day. And as someone with ADHD who struggles to pick a topic anyway, and then everything is in my feed now and the whole internet is pushing things to me. I'm like, can people stop killing, please? Like, can I just talk about stuff that I've already had on my mind for the last 10 years? And then we can resume. But for now, I just need everyone to take a break.
Yeah. Everybody stop killing people.
Especially your spouses. Oh my gosh, just get a divorce.
I agree. It's not that hard, guys.
I know y'all want to kill your husbands, but listen, if you just get a divorce and move into an apartment, your apartment will pay someone to come move your snow for you.
Also, you'll get alimony. Maybe.
If you are the breadwinner and you are not married, get a prenup.
Yeah.
But like, make it a nice prenup. Like, I would have been okay if Sean and I had a prenup and like he didn't come to the marriage with much.
Yeah.
But I didn't either. But you know what? You know what I'd be leaving with? On my own debt.
True.
But now we've been married so long that if he leaves me, he also has to pay my debt.
Listen, I'm pro prenup. I'm here for
same.
it. If you have money, I'm here for it.
I think if you had attached or brought it up at 15, I would have been like, what the fudge? But now I'm like,
yes.
I mean, if I had to date somebody, I don't even have money. And I'd be like, I don't want your drama.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, thank you for coming.
And thank you for listening to us ramble on about God knows what this episode.
Yes. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, review, all the things. I know it's a lot. Just like if you have 5 minutes in your day, be like, you know what I haven't done yet? Told the girls that I like them. and that
Yeah, tell us
they're-
you like us. We like
Yeah,
that.
we do like that. And the text is cute, but if you could just also share it, like, I don't know, Megan, if you're editing like photos and you're sharing something on Instagram, you could totally be like, this was the soundtrack to my editing schedule.
There you go.
Or Hannah, if you're on a flight, and I know you listen to all of our 4 first episodes on a flight, you could totally be like, today I had to fly to Joshua Tree National Park to photograph all these beautiful people because I'm like a famous photographer now. But I did listen to Karen and Gloria the whole way.
Yes.
Yeah,
We would appreciate that.
Yeah, you could just totally.
And even if you didn't.
Yeah. But I know you did because you told me you did. Anyways, thanks for enjoying our chaos because we do know that we are chaos. That's the other thing. We posted it on Instagram, but if you're not following us on Instagram, you don't know this, but audio comes out Friday.
Audio.
Video comes out Saturday. And sometimes if we film too long, you get an extra video on Tuesdays. So
you're welcome.
You're welcome. And
yeah.
We're filming this on a Thursday, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Because husbands don't check schedules and I'm going to be unplugged this weekend. So,
yep.
No running water.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
No showers.
Oh. No.
No fridge. No kitchen.
Well,
it's fine.
It'll be okay.
I'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll
be fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine. It's okay. All right. Well.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.